de agosto do ano 2013, nossa mestra, nossa estrela guia, nos deixou para subir um plano superior junto ao divino. A família que você deixou aqui, hoje, quero homenagear de uma maneira singela a você, para lembrar, sentir e viver a sua alegria, a sua energia que nos ilumina e nos nutre a todos nós até hoje. Querida Romana, você mora em nossos corações e nos inspira a sermos humanamente melhor, para poder ajudar a todas as pessoas que vêm para nós a querer aprender a usufruir da contrologia. Obrigada por nos ensinar, por sermos o que nós somos hoje, guardião da essência do trabalho de seu Criador, o Senhor Joseph Humbertus Pilates. Você sempre viverá em nossos corações e em nosso espírito. Todos nós, hacia você, o respeito e a gratidão que você merece. Muito obrigada por você haver estado neste mundo, haver iluminado todas as nossas vidas, haver dado um sentido, uma missão à nossa vida. Muito obrigada.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you about my story on how I met Romana. Who's ever been to Draga's gym knows what I'm talking about. You get out of the elevator and you enter this extraordinary energy. There was about 50 people in that room, full of teachers, apprentices, and on the other side were gymnasts working out. There was so much energy. It was created by one person, and that's Romana. And she was only like this short, but her magnetic field and her presence was so big that that energy, you knew there was no other place on earth you wanted to be at that moment. And you were experiencing something in history. So I came for my assessment, and she looked at me and she said, "Are you samurai from Japan?" And I said, "No ma'am, I'm Jerome from Arizona." And then she said, "Well, did you get here on your horse? You're so bow-legged." And I said, "Well, I parked it out on 57th Street, and I heard you can fix my legs." And we just started laughing. And then that whole session, all she did was work on my bow legs. And after the session, she just said to me, "I want you to follow me like a shadow and don't study with anybody else." And that's how it started. But what she did to me as a human being, she lit a spark in the depths of my being. And it made me feel fully awake and alive. And when you feel like that, there's nothing you can't do. I mean, you really feel like something magical is happening inside your whole being, and there's nothing that you can't achieve when you're in her presence. And she does that. She pulls out these latent abilities, talents, forces you never knew you had in you, and she pulls it at you. And that is the magic that she had. And that's how she affected me, and infected me, infected all of us. We got this virus from her. That's how she affected me as a human being, and I still feel it today.
There's a sense of invincibility. Invincible. When you were working with Romana, you just felt completely unlimited and invincible. And that was the most incredible feeling. I had never felt that before.
Yeah,
I've
and
never felt
if
that
you
since.
can experience that like once in a life, very lucky to meet a human being that can pull that out of you. So I feel super grateful, and I'm still on the journey. I still feel that buzz. How about you?
Definitely.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me be a part of this tribute to Romana. I was asked, some personal things, about how she affected me and professionally. The first thing that comes to mind is the trailblazer that she was, and how, for me, it started when she left Peru, with her children, leaving her luxurious life behind with her, leaving her husband because of a political coup, and then traveling as a single mom, to New York and starting all over again. And Joe, of course, opened his arms to her. And then in the afternoon, she, as a single mom, was teaching ballet. So I learned from her immediately about her strength and her courage as a woman. Then personally, well, maybe I'll say professionally, she gave me my career. She gave us all a career, and she created an empire. And I always think of her as the empress. I think of her hands when she used to spot, the firm hand, beloved hand, and I try to imprint that every day of my life. Her majesty, her poetry, the way she would say things. She's one of the most gracious human beings who opened her arms to everyone. She opened her arms and we all ran to them. And the one thing she told me was never to worry about pettiness. We don't have time for it. So I just want to say to everyone how much of a debt of gratitude I owe this enormous legend that I was privileged to know. Thank you so much.
This is not something that I enjoy doing very much, but since the subject is Romana, I have made a big effort to talk into a video camera, which, as I said, is not very appealing to me. Also, there's so much I can talk about when it comes to Romana. Almost too much. So I'm gonna keep it really simple and just say that she was a huge force in my life and continues to be. I take her with me to work every single day, and she guides me. I believe that. I believe that all the information and love and empathy that I share with those that I come in contact with is a direct guide from her. And that's something that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. And in saying that, I also maintain a high level of respect for Shari. And I know that that is what Romana would want. And I think that in her own way she carries her torch. And for that I'm grateful to be a part of. That's it. I love her still. Always will.
So when I met Romana for the first time, I was a little bit nervous. I had no idea what to expect. The year is 1995. And it was such a game changer for me because personally I was in a place where, after having been in the fitness industry for so long and then meeting this incredible woman who was so grandmother-like, all loving, she really was wonderful. So personally, I really appreciated her encouragement, her discipline, her firmness, but her kindness of spirit and kindness and generosity with how she shared information with us. She always made me feel personally very special in her world. And professionally, it changed my entire life trajectory, being with Romana. Again, coming from a fitness background, I was just blown away by the degree of sophistication in the Pilates system as she shared it with us. And I had a full personal training business. I just changed gears. It was just like, I didn't dip my toe in, I dove in, and here we are today with that. What I really love about Romana too in her teaching, which I picked up, was really to listen to her words. And I can hear her, she sits on my shoulder, and I can hear her reminding me and encouraging me, don't teach those transitions, don't let people, be sloppy in their work, but doing it with kindness and love. And I love hearing my colleagues teach, because I hear Romana coming through us, speaking through us. And so that's my experience. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Amelia. We were classmates together with Romana, and how brilliant it was just to be able to get down on the mat or the reformer and work out together in unison, completely synchronized without speaking a single word. So that's kind of a tribute to Romana and an appreciation to Amelia Garcia also.
Whenever I think of Romana, I get a little happy jolt of energy because there was so much enthusiasm and fullness in my experience with her. As a teacher, she really gave of herself completely. You felt as though she was watching and listening to your body in a way that you never had, and she pushed you to do things like hang from fuzzies and jumping off your stomach and handstands and put your leg up by your ear, and you often thought, oh my God, I'm scared, but you trusted her and you did it, and you ended up leaving your lesson just overflowing with enthusiasm and exhilaration and confidence in yourself, this newfound confidence. And it was so much more than the Pilates method that got me addicted to it. It was Romana's zest and joy for life and others and sharing that made me want to become a teacher. And I just want to say it's a rare person in life who sees you the way you want to be seen. And I just want to say thank you, Romana, for being my teacher.
Romana taught me so many things. I couldn't possibly list them, but sometimes she taught in more subtle ways, like telling stories. And she once told me that she could tell what kind of teacher somebody was by the message they left on her answering machine. And I took that to mean, when I teach, always have a confident, clear voice and get to the point and be kind. And that's been great advice, both in the studio and out. So even when she was telling stories, she was teaching us, and I consider myself very lucky to have spent time with her.
Hello, my name is Peter Fiasca. It was an honor and pleasure for me to study with Romana Kryzanowska for many years. Romana shared her beautiful spirit and deep wisdom with everyone. She inspired us to become better human beings, to love life, and accomplish great athletic skill. Romana's passion, sense of adventure, joy, and awe-inspiring leadership remain with us like the eternal Olympic flame. She was born with greatness and preserved the work of Joe Pilates with greatness. I know that Enelia's love, devotion, and phenomenal work, continuing the unique legacy of Romana and Joe at the highest levels. The Pilates Studio of Brazil is indeed a university of world-class professors y professoras, so I am thankful and thrilled for their teaching, their leadership, and preservation of traditional Pilates technique.
Having a day of remembrance for Romana is kind of a funny concept to me, and probably to my students who hear me every day say every other sentence, as Romana used to say, because Romana is with me every day. There is no one day that holds any different meaning than any other day. She is in me both in my teaching and also in my thinking. So she taught me about many more things than just Pilates. She was the voice in my head of reason for my business. She was the voice in my head for reason about people sometimes. She was human, so she had her own experiences with people that she would give me lessons about, and I learned, and some I didn't learn. But Romana is someone who I feel I hope would not only be remembered for her teaching of exercises, but for her passion and spirit that she brought to the work of Pilates. That is something that is not always brought forth in people's teaching, and it is something that she had in spades. So I really feel like what I got the most from Romana was the passion and the spirit and laughter. And
hello, this is Alicia Angaro speaking from Real Pilates. I've been asked to share some of my favorite memories of Romana, and specifically of how she changed my life. So I guess the best place to start is, without having had her as my teacher, I would not have had the life that I have today. So I am eternally grateful for everything she taught me, and in all the ways she inspired me to be a better mover, a better human, and a better Pilates person, as she always liked to say, Pilates person, than I could have imagined. I think that when you're talking about how someone inspires you, some of it you can't really distill into words. It's just a feeling, a sensation, something visceral that you sense and that you take away after each experience with them. And the thing that I always come back to with Romana is this joie de vivre, this I never left a session feeling sad about myself or depressed or, focused on my limitations. Instead, I was inspired and hopeful and really excited to make another stride, to advance in one way, to think about things a little differently. And that, I think, was her incredibly special gift. Of course, the teaching of Pilates is, what she's known for, but I think that ability to inspire someone to be a better human is so much bigger than that. So in my teaching, I feel like that's the piece that, if I could take one thing and say that's the piece that really inspired me the most, it's that element, to make sure that people always leave Pilates better than when I found them, better than when they came in the door. Just something in their spirit, something in their, their emotional fortitude, that you give them something more than just a list of exercises, but a feeling of well-being, of true wellness and joy in their bodies. And it's elusive for so many of us as people, that we sort of navigate this world outside of our bodies. So to have this gift of being able to go inside yourself with the careful coaching of a teacher, I think that was her special gift and biggest contribution to me personally. And if I can extend that to all of my students and all of the teachers we come into contact with, then I feel like I am not only living up to my promise to her, but also extending her reach beyond what she was able to do. So I hope that inspired you. It was exactly how I feel about Romana when I think about her teaching, how I felt under her guidance and careful coaching, and how I approach all of the beautiful students I get to come in contact with every single day.
Romana has been and will always be an inspiration for me. When I'm teaching in my studio, I always have the image of her teaching to me or teaching in the studio to other trainers, other students. And, she stood upright, very elegant posture, almost like a queen, and she had a magnetic personality. So what really stays in my mind is that she was teaching Pilates not only to correct body's alignment. She was mostly teaching Pilates to encourage people to take out the best part they had inside, to show their feelings. So she really touched my mind and opened my heart. And my creativity awakens when I think about her.
We're all good? So, aside from Romana being my mentor and this incredibly gifted teacher that we had for years, personally, when you are touched by Romana and when you are a true student of Romana's, she was not just a Pilates instructor. She was like your life coach. She was more like a coach and a teacher to help you be the very best human being that you possibly can be.
Like a master of potential.
Exactly. Yeah. She was a master of your potential, whatever that might be. And the brilliant thing is that a lot of us, when we come into Pilates and we meet Romana, we don't know what that potential is. But she had this incredible, unique gift to pull that out of us.
She could see your talents.
And have us do things and see our talents and nurture our talents and then get us to see our own talents and our own abilities. And that is the most empowering thing that you can do for another human being. To really enrich them in what their full potential is just so remarkable. That is beyond a masterful teacher. So she has empowered me beyond, through the Pilates method, through my daily living, through my habits, through my interactions with people, to live a very enriched, beautiful life. Joy. She taught me to see joy in every motion of my day, every moment of my day. Find joy. She found joy. That's why we always had champagne on Fridays. Champagne Fridays, why not, right? Week is over. So yeah, so much more than just a teacher.
I knew she was being tough because she cared and because she saw our potential. Eventually, we will all crack up laughing because she knew too. And our lessons will become little parties. Oh, Romana, we so miss you.
Romana was humble in a way that I hope that we all can be humble. When she would say, I learned from everyone. And isn't that a wonderful thing for someone so wonderful of a teacher to say, I learned from everyone. Now, Romana is not, she could have, there could be a time when she needed to put people in their places, and she could do that. So a little bit cantankerous, just a little bit, when needed. I want to tell you that, times change, people change, Pilates changes, idea changes, but for me, something that I hold dear to my heart, and that is that if I can give to those who I am teaching and those I'm around, the way she gave with such generous spirit, the work of Pilates, then I would have done okay. And so I think that has always been my mission. I think I've put that in certain biographies and things like that because I think of it very truly, that if I can, the spirit that was given to me, I'd like to be able to pass that on in its dedication, in its strength, in its duration, in its flexibility, in its ability to change lives. I want to be part of that which Romana gave to me. And I remember when I was in Florida at the last convention hosted by Daria, I mentioned in my presentation that if Romana had a calling card, it would say balance, strength, flexibility, but it would also say joy, because that's what it was to work with Romana. It was joyous. It had all those components of a good, solid beginnings of a teacher where you're not afraid. She gave you the confidence, and you carried that through in many parts of your life. So, and I know many of you have experienced that too, and others will say it in different ways. But I'm very happy to, if I could, to honor Romana with anything that shows her her love of life, her zest, and her ability to change people's lives. And for many of us, that won't ever change, ever change, ever change. So God bless you all. Take care and thank you. Bye-bye.
Romana, thank you so much for everything you taught me, not only at Drago's Gym, doing those amazing sessions with you, and your energy and your generosity, for all the things that you're giving to students and clients. I learned so much from you, and traveling and having some fun time doing parties and dinners and training programs, and I just I can't thank you enough. You have given me an amazing tool to give to people. I love what I do. I just gonna do it forever and ever. And I want you to let you know that we're thinking of you every single day here at the studio. We are continuing to keep the legacy strong for you and Joseph Pilates, and I'm sure that he's very, very proud of you, and you have created an amazing community, so thank you so much.
What Romana means to me, what Romana will continue to mean to me, has always been as an example of the person I would strive to be as a teacher, as a pupil, as a human being. Romana was a visionary, ahead of her time, with great wisdom and imagination, always planning what's next for you. She was an incredible artist, an expert whose work exhibited through movement with exceptional skills, elegance, grace, and talent. Romana had a great sense of humanity. She was generous, unconditionally, always willing to give, share, and pass on, without any expectations in return, wholeheartedly. She was gracious, courteous, compassionate, kind, and filled with humility. Romana instilled in me courage. Always fight and stand for what you believe in, and never, never give up. But most importantly, Romana and I had a relationship. Mentor, teacher, a forever apprentice. Sometimes like a mother, sometimes like a godmother. Always a guide and always, always a friend. For this, I thank you, Romana, for who I am today as a teacher and as a pupil and as a human being. And for this, I will always thank you and honor you and forever, ever love you.
On the 7th anniversary of us losing our dear Romana, who gave so much to us and this community, I want to send my sympathy to her family, who have suffered the loss of a mother and a grandmother, and to all those who were blessed enough to have her as a teacher, as a mentor, and as a friend. Let us take a moment today and remember the beautiful passage that she shared with us.
Querida Romana, en el silencio del inicio de una clase, aún puedo escuchar tu voz diciendo, traigan la mente al cuerpo. Puedo cerrar los ojos e imaginarte danzando un vals entre los reformers mientras das un foot series. Puedo recordar todas las anécdotas contadas y vividas con Pilates. Pero quedará grabado en mi mente aquel día de octubre del año 2003 que junto a mi amiga Inelia García en The Pilates Studio Brasil, después de un largo proceso de certificación, me entregaste el diploma y me dijiste, Mile, tú ahora tienes que ir a la Argentina y difundir el auténtico Pilates. Y te puedo asegurar que cada vez que esa puerta se abre y entran nuestros colegas, compañeros y alumnos, todo el equipo de Pilates Mile Moreno se empeña en cumplir esta promesa. Gracias por ser nuestra guía. La energia continua, continua, continua.
Buongiorno, sono Gaia Faggiani. 2 parole su Romana Kryzanowska. Romana ha lasciato il segno nel mondo, sia nel Pilates che nella vita e nell'anima di tante persone. Era una persona speciale e vorrei racchiuderla in 3 parole, se possibile. la gioia, amava moltissimo quello che faceva profondamente e tutto quello che faceva era un'espressione di gioia dai suoi occhi. La precisione in tutto quello che faceva, amava profondamente il metodo e era estremamente precisa e devota alla missione che le aveva lasciato in eredità Mr. Pilates. Movimento per me credo sia stata una parola chiave nella sua vita, sia come danzatrice che come emblema nel metodo della contrologia del Pilates. Grazie Romana.
Romana, quiero decirte que estoy muy feliz en mi vida por haberte conocido, por haberme transmitido tus conocimientos, tu sabiduría, por haberme dado tus consejos, tus predicciones y sobre todo por esos grandes momentos de alegrías, de risas que pasamos contigo. Y bueno, pues no me queda más que decirte que estoy eternamente agradecida contigo y que quiero y voy a seguir estudiando durante toda mi vida tu legado allá en Brasil. Te quiero, Romana.
Estoy aquí para una homenaje a Romana 2020. ¿no? Es siempre interesante pensar en ella, ¿no? Porque son muchos años que compartilhamos juntos y desde el inicio ella nos dio condiciones para hoy día ser la referencia que somos en el mundo. Fue dando todos los pasos para no ser excelentes instructores, tener una estructura, padrón que sirviese para divulgar, crecer, desenvolver a partir del concepto de la franquía, un centro de certificación de excelencia, que es una referencia en cualquier parte del mundo. La educación continua, entender el valor, la necesidad de ella, o poder desenvolvedor que tiene a educación continua. O padrón de todas las cosas que nos temos es Romana. Fue ella que nos fue orientando, cutucando para trabajar incansablemente junto con Inélia para que você tenga aquello que reconoce como Pilates. Pilates se origina en Brasil con Romana. Goste o no goste otras personas escucharem eso. Eso es innegable. O tesouro que ela deixou para todos nós está en cada uno de nós, en cada uno de nuestros corpos, de nuestro treino, de nuestro suor, de nuestras realizaciones, de nuestras dificultades, de nuestros fracasos. Inélia hoy es a nuestra maestra. Olhar para Inélia es olhar a Romana, porque en ella está todo lo que Romana dejó para nós, hasta en sus gestos, en sus palabras, en su olhar, en su delicadeza, en su vigor, en su maestría. Y en muchos otros ustedes van a olhar algo parecido. En Unali, una Rosana, Denise, Roberto, Ana Vilarón, Lili, Soninha, Miti, Lu, Neto, Newton, Mary, Glaucia, Gustavo, Vinicius, Ana Gabriela, Meire y tantos otros que tal vez quedan por ahí sin ser mencionados, pero que están y serán siempre grandes instructores dentro o fuera de la red. O que hay en el mundo es aquello poco que queda que esté directamente con Romana o aquello que se desenvolvió a partir de Pilates Studio Brasil. No somos referencia, no somos Romana. y esa llama tiene que ser mantida por el tiempo que for necesario, porque esa es nuestra fuerza de acción, de suceso, de progreso, de presente, de presencia y de valor. Obrigado, Romana. Obrigado.